Hi, I'm Becky Rogers with LIFEstory Transformation, back with another life story. So, when I was new at writing my life story and just exploring and experimenting, really, I would try to find what experiences I was having in my life that were frustrating to me. And I remember at one point, one of my biggest concerns was my 11-year-old son who couldn't read at all. And we had struggled and tried again, and everything just ended in tears and frustration. And then we'd put it away for a while, and then we'd come back to it, and it would just be agonizing. An hour of not being able to read a paragraph. It was just really, really difficult and very frustrating for him and also for me. And I honestly was very worried about it, as you can imagine. So one day I had the thought, why don't I write this in my life story? And so I wrote a paragraph in my life story about him being able to read a chapter book in a couple of days instead of a half an hour, an hour of just agonizing. I actually didn't write that part in there about the agonizing. Don't write anything like that in your life story. But I wrote in there that what I wanted it to look like, basically, which was a radical shift from what was happening. So, and then I just put it away. And probably 3 or 4 weeks went by, even maybe 5, I don't remember for sure. But one day he came up from his room in the morning, and we were having our family devotional time. And it came his turn to read, and he could read like someone flipped on a switch. It was crazy. And he just looked at me and he was shocked. And he said, "Mom, can I read some more?" And I said, "Yeah." I was surprised. I said, "Yeah, knock yourself out, babe. Go for it. You're on a roll." So he could read. He surprised himself. And from that point on, he started to make progress in his reading until today. He does really well. But And he struggled with some pretty severe learning challenges at that age in his life. And what I realized from that experience was that my own fear about him not being able to read was keeping him from being able to outgrow that. I was so afraid and uptight about it that even while he was growing and developing, that energy in my thought process was keeping him stuck. And so even though now, when you write your life story, you have to know how to do it when you're writing about things for other people, because you can't interfere in their agency, and you for sure don't want to write something that's not for their highest and best good. So we actually go into a lot of detail on that in the life story program, which I don't have time to go into now. But just suffice it to say, when you write it properly, you actually have opportunities to affect a lot of changes in other people by affecting change in yourself first. And that's one of my greatest rewards of life story has been helping him to overcome that challenge, using life story, his and mine, and doing that together.